Hello again, everyone. This is That's My Pizza with some more Langrisser Mobile. And today I'm actually going to cover the 5 matches that I played before, or 6 matches I played on pretty much yesterday. So yeah, I just want to kind of go over these. And then, yeah, maybe hopefully you'll learn something new from it. In any case, let's get into this first match against Zakima or Muchazak. And yeah, it's kind of like a running theme of all the matches I've played so far in that I keep getting P2 against these rush boxes, which is just really annoying because it's just they it's really hard. It's kind of hard to deal with rush boxes if it's kind of well built, and if if they're well built and if they're first player as well. So pretty much what's going on here is Zakima is banning out my healers, which would indicate he's kind of angling for an AoE strategy. So pretty much I'm getting rid of Neo Zerda because she's just hard to deal with, and then I'm getting rid of Helena, and then what's his name, Wedum. So yeah, getting rid of those two. So what else? Yeah. So I'm getting rid of those two, and I'm picking up McLean, so he essentially can't rush me turn one, which is nice. But now that I think about it, probably should have gotten rid of Poliao, since that way he wouldn't be able to overwrite my water, and the only way could get around it would be through Wedum or running like Kruger, and pretty much at that point I could just ban them out. And also, he first picked Werner for some reason, who is really not good anymore. Like, he was never that good in the first place because he's cavalry and his speed buff is kind of just okay. But I think he was mostly just aiming to pick him up since there's a lot of terrain and people can benefit from his speed boost a bit better. Anyways, I ban out these two since Carolyn can overwrite my terrain, and I got rid of Clotaire because he can hit me turn one with a single speed boost. So yeah, there's that. And then I pick up my Neo Zerda here. So I have pretty high threat range with her because she can basically just jump in and attack. Anyways, he bans out my last healer in Wedum, so I can't run at him turn one. And then he picks up Bernhardt, who he's fine, I suppose, but nothing really too threatening, and I can pretty much just one-shot him with most of my remaining characters. And so I ban out those two, since Kruger's just going to be annoying with his debuffs, and he can fly, and then Matthew just has really long blades, especially on this map. And I think I pick up Archon here, because he has a revive, so he can't go in and mess me up too much. Though, now that I think about it, probably should have picked up Iron-Blooded Commander here, so I'd have a lot more range, and I could pretty much combo any of my remaining units into stuff. Alternatively, I could have picked up my Elma a little bit earlier, but it's whatever. So yeah, I lose Iron-Blood here, and then I lose Lostum, because Lostum is actually really good on this map. He picks up Lucretia, who I really don't care about, because she's not going to have any range. Honestly, I probably should have just banned out Gintoki. Well, actually, yeah, he should have picked up Gintoki there. So I ban out his Gintoki and Juggler. So he doesn't really have a good AoE. It doesn't have a good AoE, and I think he picks up what's his name, Diart here, since he has more range than Iron-Blood, and he always has a speed boost from Werner. So yeah. Honestly, I think it would have been smarter to pick up her, whatever. Anyways, I pick up Gin here because Gin's just very strong in general, and I don't have a ton of like game-breaking units at my disposal. Though, probably should have picked up Diehard here, since I'd be able to. Actually, it wouldn't have even mattered since he has Werner, and he pretty much will outrange me no matter what. So he bans out those two, and I think I pick up Epsilon here since he's a lot more snowball-y than Diehard, and Diehard's pretty much a one-and-done character. Anyways. Oh yeah, another thing, this is going to be a fast match, so I probably shouldn't have brought in Pirate Raiders, but whatever, on my McLean. So here, He's pretty much using Lucretia as a support unit, which is fine, because she's not really going to be doing much, and I'm just putting my Epsilon back in the back since he's pretty much going to be... I'm pretty much going to be using him to essentially clean up the entire team. Sending Gintoki in the back so he can get his stuff set up, and I also just realized, instead of bringing Sanseas, I probably should have brought, whatchamacallit, the heavy infantry or phalanxes, because pretty much my Gintoki can one-shot any of these guys. So yeah, here where I'm just kind of playing footsies around, because with Werner's buff, I am pretty much getting zoned out super hard, and then this Diehard can move very, very far. Like, he can go up to here and hit anything like in this area, or go here and hit like anything in this area. So kind of having a very hard time, and I don't want to use McClane too carelessly because his water can just get overwritten by this Polyow, which is annoying. And so this Bernhard gets a breeze, which isn't a huge deal to me. Here I'm just keeping my Gintoki in the back so he doesn't get picked off by Werner or the Diehard. So yeah, Werner's pretty much just spamming his 3C to get buffed up, and here I throw out the water so I have some more maneuverability. And so this Polyow, her 3C actually decreases in range each turn, so so essentially her 3C can only go up to here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so yeah, I can only go up to there. So the best play here would just put my Archon there, so he can go in and start hitting stuff, or to put my Archon right here, Archon right there, so he can't get hit by the Lucretia or whatnot. So yeah, there's that. And then yeah, but here I make a mistake with the Archon and place him right in range of Polyow's 3C, and I keep forgetting. Well, this is pretty much the first time I've seen Polyow in play, and I think I only used her like during the free trial, like when on the summon screen. So I forgot that it had a stun part to the 3C. So he gets stunned, which is actually really bad. So now I just go in and finish off the Polyow because that's pretty much all I have left. And take her out in one shot. So yeah, that's not good. And here, Diehard just goes in, takes off the first life of my Neo Zerida, but what's more important is he stuns her, which is not good. So yeah, she gets stunned, so I pretty much have 2 stunned units here, which is really, really bad in the grand scheme of things, because if Archon wasn't stunned, I could easily just come over and pick off one of, like, this Werner Dime, or I could just pick off the Lucretia or whatnot. But nope, I kind of messed that up, unfortunately. That's not a big deal. So there, I just go in, finish off the Diehard, so get that trade. And then he goes in, takes out my Neo Zerida, and which is fine with me because that gives me a lot more movement with my Gintoki. And here I'm just moving up. Yeah, I move up my whatchamacallit, my Diehard. Well, not my Diehard, my Epsilon, because I don't want to move. I don't want to move my Gintoki up quite yet. But honestly, I kind of should have just done that, because here what ends up happening is Werner pretty much has a free hit on my Gin to just take him out, and I could have just taken out the burn for free, and then I would have had a little bit more flexibility with my McClane, even though he has basically nothing he can really do left. So yeah, go take off the first life of Lucretia and just massively debuff her. which is fine with me, because now she'll pretty much die to a passing breeze. And here's basically what I was talking about, in that if I had phalanxes, I would have been able to pretty much just... Yeah, if I had phalanxes here, I pretty much would have been able to just ignore this Werner. And let's see. Actually, what I should have done here is just gone up, taken out the Werner with my Epsilon, and then pretty much all the rest of my team would be pretty much free, because Lucretia can only take out one of these two, so he'd probably take out Archon, and then the Arcane Golem will actually probably just die to an auto attack, and then at that point I can just pick off his entire team with Epsilon, because Bernhardt's Sword Dance wouldn't be up for another 2 turns. But yeah, I don't do that because I'm a dum-dum. Oh, also he had first attack anyways. And then he takes out my Archon right there, so yeah, that's not good. But what else? Yeah, it would have been a bit dicey if I didn't take out the Werner now. Yeah. So I kind of need to actually just take out this Lucretia, because she will one-shot at my Epsilon. So I'll go do that. And then Zakima retreats his Werner this turn for some reason. Yep, so he goes and does that. Which honestly is kind of a bad idea, because now he needs to swap over to a speed stance again to actually do anything. But at this point, I just kill off the Bernhardt, so I get a free kill, I get my shield back, get a lot of buffs, and then he attacks me, pops my shield, but he gets impatient, attacks my Epsilon here, and dies to a counterattack, because this is one thing about Warner that made him really bad, is that horse units have terrible auto attacks. Like, they go in front of their troops and can pretty much get killed on like a single auto, like on an auto attack. So that's pretty much what happens here. So, excuse me. Let's go back a second just to show that off. So yeah, he goes in, and then yeah, he pretty much just goes in and dies because his auto attack animation is so bad, and my Epsilon was on terrain, and Epsilon actually, as a demon, has a fantastic auto attack animation. So yeah, I won that by the skin of my teeth, and yeah, I take those. So the next one is against Kel'Thuzad, and I completely forgot what happened here, but I really enjoy that he has Ainz as his profile, and Kel'Thuzad is like a pretty important Lich character in, I believe, World of Warcraft. No, it's Warcraft 3, so yeah, pretty cool role playing there. So yeah, pretty standard box. Well, this isn't a really standard box, but it has a lot of meta things in it, but it has a little too much focus on the Glory faction, in that it has Elwyn, Sherry, Werner, and SP Matthew. And the Elwyn, Sherry, and Werner are pretty much phased out of the current meta, so it's kind of interesting to see them here and see... Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see them here, even though they're not super powerful. Also, most Warners are run as infantry rather than as assassins, because they can... The infantry Warner actually can wear Apex boots, so he has slightly more range, which is extremely important for Warner, because in the grand scheme of things, his range is actually kind of bad. Anyways, so I bound out Neo Zerda pretty much turn 1, because my box is not very good at dealing with her. And then he picks up Neo Elma, and I'm just so sick and tired of playing against tank push. I'm just gonna use the slowness of that playstyle against it by picking up McLean. And McLean is also really good for this map because there's a crap ton of water in it. So here I pretty much get rid of stuff that can pretty much hit me turn 1, or hit me turn 1, which is wet him, or stun my silly butt. And I pick up McLean. Yeah, Lost him has a stun, and it's very annoying to deal with. So he bans out the same units because he probably doesn't want to deal with. It's actually a really bad ban because Neo Elma can. Neo Elma just passively ignores heal reversal, and then most Neo Elmas run the anti-stun accessory, so Lostum really couldn't do anything about that. And Lostum's assassination potential is actually kind of bad, so kind of a bad ban there, if I had to say so. And then he picks up Lucretia, which I'm like, I'm already gonna just annoy the crap out of you with my AoE, well, with my water. And here I get rid of SP Matthew and Gintoki because SP Matthew can jump on me turn 1, is generally kind of annoying, and then Gintoki's a very good carry that I don't want to deal with. And then I pick up my own Neo Elma, so I don't need to worry about single target attackers at this point. So I'm pretty much blocking out Lucretia, I'm blocking out Sherry, and then I'm blocking out Elwyn, and I'm blocking out Ironblood. So Kel'Thuzad pretty much needs to pick up one of the either Epsilon, Werner, or Diehard here. And that pretty much gives me a free way to essentially ban out the remaining DPS and only have like one major threat against me. So yeah, here he bans out those two, and then he picks up Epsilon. And so I just react to that and ban out his remaining assassins, so I can pretty much just tank push for days and not worry about it. And here I pick up Sissy White, since I believe one of my healers I got one healer banned, so that was pretty much gave me a free healer pick. And then he bans out my Epsilon and Diehard, so I can't assassinate him, but not Werner, but what's his name, McLean is good enough as an assassin in this situation. And then he picks up, oh wait, I didn't ban out Diehard? That's weird. Oh, I think I know what happened. I was worried that the Lucretia could just tank bust my Neo Elma, since she's not the best. She can kind of get killed off by Lucretia due to the Lucretia's 3C and Neo Elma being a holy unit. Also, Lucretia receives a buff from Neo Elma. Here, I guess what I was just thinking is that I don't really care about Diehard since he's just a one and done unit, and I also had McLean to kind of deal with that. So I ban out those two so I don't have to worry about the debuffs from them. And then I leave Sherry because Sherry's honestly just kind of terrible against this setup since I have a lot of revives, a lot of movement restrictions, and then I pick up the Archon since he doesn't, since Kel'Thuzad doesn't really have any like displacement stuff. Plus, Archon has a revive, and he can pretty much mess up his assassins. Yeah, so he bans out those two who are holy and benefit from Neo Elma, and leaves me with Yani as the last pick, which I am perfectly content to pick up. So yeah, there's that, and also that Sherry is going to be running as an assassin, and if you've seen some of my previous videos, I think Sherry's assassination potential is actually kind of weak. Though it looks like this is a, whatchamacallit, a Genius Staff Twilight Star build, which I don't think is very good in the long run. In any case, he starts moving. He buffs up with Epsilon, and I want to just double check if this Epsilon has Shadow Stealth, because he really shouldn't be running it. Yep, he's running 2 damage skills, which is pretty good. And here I'm just moving up slightly cautiously because the Diehard's actually placed in a very annoying place. Like, he can come in and hit anything around my Neo Elma, which isn't too bad since half my team has revives, and my Sissy White is fixed damage immune, so she probably won't die to an assassination attempt from Diehard, but you can never be too careful. And then Yani's pretty much dead to Diehard no matter what, but I think my Yani's built in a trollish way. Also, unfortunately, that Diehard gets a breeze here, so I have to be a little bit more careful, but then I realize, oh, I have water, and then I throw water, and so now he can't threaten me as much. And here, I'm actually doing a kind of tricky thing, in that I thought I had slightly enough range to actually throw my portal down and then act again with my Archon, and then pull the Sherry and just one-shot her. But unfortunately, the portal would actually have to be right there because Archon only gets to move 2 extra spaces with the Water Act again, Tidal Surge, yeah. So unfortunately, he'd be here, and his pull is 3 range, so it'd be 1, 2, and 3, which just whiffs by 1, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Anyways, we keep moving, so now he applies Mass Crystal Healing here, and then I move up my Archon just to threaten the Diehard if he decides to come in for some reason, which you will see he actually does. So yeah, he comes in, resists that, and tries to kill my Yani, which she does. Well, he does. But unfortunately, he dies as well due to the reflection, due to Yani's build, which is intensely funny. So let's unpack this a little bit. So I believe my Yani has about 70% damage reflection. Yeah, 60 or 70% damage reflection. Due to her current setup, and she can also retaliate against Diehard as well. So yeah, he comes in and assassinates my Yani, which is very funny to me. So yeah, there she goes, but the Diehard dies in return, which is really bad for him. Because 1, that gives me turn priority, and 2, that's just a free trade for me, and I'm like, ha. And yeah, basically, Yani is pretty much, like most high-level players who use Yani, pretty much use her like that, like, oh, just disposable tool that I can throw portals down and be a general menace. So yeah, here he's at a huge disadvantage now, because Epsilon really can't do much against my remaining 2 units because they have revives, and I just have an obscene amount of map control now. So yeah, unfortunately, I have turn priority, and my Archon will one-shot this Epsilon because the pull will break the shield, and then just Archon hits really hard, especially against weaker units. Also, I go in here, Riptide component, throw down Terrifying Way so the Sherry can't go in and annoy me. Move back, and then completely shut down any thoughts he could, Kel'Thuzad had of ever attacking me this turn. So now I pretty much go in and do what I just told you, where my Archon goes in, pulls the Epsilon, and kills him. So yeah, goes in, he gets healed a little bit, but whatever. And then Archon just goes in, kills Epsilon easily, and then heals back to full. So yeah, now Archon is in range of Sherry. Sherry completely whiffs the kill, and then pops my Archon's first life, which I don't really care about, even if he died. Yeah, and then I move my I use my Neo Elma to just go in and protect my Archon. And here I throw down long-term investment on McLean because he's pretty much going to be carrying me now. So yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. So the Neo Elm used, what's this? Holy Shield Bash, which is increase my so damage to 1 and increase damage for each ally that dies on. Okay, so basically it has a 15% extra damage, which is fine, I guess. Okay, and if it kills something, it gets 2 more cooldown, which whatever. So yeah, doesn't really do much to me. Sherry really can't do anything, and so he auto attacks with Sherry, doesn't do much, and then I buff up my McLean so he can get into range and potentially hit this Sherry. So yeah, McClane goes in, attempts to assassinate the Sherry, whiffs the kill big time, but whatever, that's not a big deal since McClane can just spam his assassination skill as long as he keeps attacking. Yeah, and also kind of just shows me that I kind of needed to have the Glacier Elementals to actually do damage, but whatever. So yeah, Sherry goes in, taps my Neo Elma, does nothing, and I think she's gonna hit her again. Do even left. Oh, and she used the assassination skill against against my Sissy White. Whiffs big time, which, whatever. Also, I wanted to see, does this Sherry have Twilight Star? Nope, she doesn't, so I didn't even need to worry about that. So yeah, that bounces off my Sissy White, and then I believe I used Elma's 3C. He gets his Elma's 3C back up, but pretty much this is already over, so there's nothing really interesting to say at this point. I think what I do here is just act again, Archon, and then Tidal Surge him so I can get his 3C back up, and then kill off the Cherry. Yeah, so Tidal Surge there. I keep that and pull the Sherry. Do a lot of damage and then move around and then kill off Sherry. And yeah, that does a lot of damage. So yeah, this is pretty much over. Since Kel'Thuzad has 0 damage units and I can easily just assassinate the Rosen Seal. So yeah, I'm surprised the Kel'Thuzad actually didn't surrender after this. Oh, and that Rosen Seal does not fix damage immunity, so hooray. So then he retreats. So yeah, that was kind of a trolley display of Yani, who I actually like quite a bit, but I think her uses are fairly limited. I just need to exploit those uses. Anyways, I play against Tristan, and here's actually a very interesting box to play against because it doesn't adhere to meta, because it is super tank pushy. Like, look at this. 3 tanks. How many healers? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 healers, so whatever. It's very tank pushy because you see this, you see Elwyn, you see Yulia, who has not been relevant for a very long time. There's, what's his name? Ultimuller. Yeah, just kind of weird stuff. Also, there's a Bora here, but since I kind of can tell that this is super tank push box, I'm probably going to just ban him out early. So anyways, he bans out my Neo Zerda first, which, not a bad idea. And then I ban out his Hilda, because Hilda is actually kind of annoying since I have a decent amount of assassins and she completely messes with Archon. And so I pick up McClane here, because I know he is going to turtle like no other. And then he gets rid of my Archon and my Wedum, which, fair. Like, I honestly don't think the Wedum ban is a good idea, because I'd still have to be going through his tanks and whatnot. And then he picks up Christiane here, so yeah, I'm like, okay, so I have a general idea of what he's going to do now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to force him to pick a healer by banning out one of his healers and then banning out one of his DPSs. So I ban out his healer and I ban out Gintoki, which makes it very easy. Like, the main issue with this type of box is it has 3 healers and 3 tanks, and that pretty much allows me to basically ban out a tank first, force him to pick a tank first, and then I can pretty much go ahead and ban out, whatchamacallit, ban out one healer and then ban out one very annoying DPS, because Tristan's team doesn't have enough DPS that I actually need to react to. And then I pick up Gintoki here because I know this is going to be a very, very long match. Also, anything he tries to throw at me, I can pretty much just ignore with Gintoki. And then he bans out my Yani and Lucretia, which, fair enough, but I kind of have to question why he did that, because yeah, these two do kind of have AoEs, but they're also magic, and Christiane kind of messes with that. And then he picks up, I think his name's Lugner or whatever. I'm just gonna call him Lugner. Yeah, he picks up that guy because I don't know, he wants to test him out. well, he's also forced to pick up a healer here. And I guess he's trying to control me with all those sins and stuff that this guy has, but honestly, it doesn't really play a big part in what I have to factor in. So I ban out those two, and then I pick up my Lost Him here. Because I can actually go in and stun, because I don't think he has stun protection. And that will pretty much allow my McClane to go in, or my Gintoki to go in easily. So there he bans out some more. Well, he bans out my tank, since I believe he's going to pick up L1 here or something. Yeah, he picks up L1. But the thing is, I'm not too worried about him, since these two have Lancer soldiers, so L1 has a very hard time getting through. Plus, my McClane will pretty much be controlling him. So I banned those two out because it's very obvious that Tristan wants a tank push, and I don't want to deal with Epsilon because he can kind of steamroll over me. But also, my team can pretty much kill any of his units, any of his remaining units. So I pick up Sissy White here, so I have like a disposable tank that I can use against Elwyn. Also, she synergizes very, very well with Gintoki. So yeah, and then he leaves me with two healers, which unfortunately he left me with Rosenseal. And he picks up Yulia here, and then I believe I leave the, what's his name? Yeah, I believe that Liana. Yeah, I ban out his remaining two DPSs because Ultimarler, even though he's not super weak, he would be very good against my team because he would just pull in my whatchamacallit, my soldier, one-shot it, and then probably one-shot one of my other units, which I don't want to deal with. And then Warner, I honestly probably could have just left since he's not that great in this situation because he'd have to deal with all the water from McClane, though he could assassinate pretty much one of these two guys because I'm running Lancer soldiers on him. Anyways, I pick up, I ban those two out, and I pick up my Rosenseal here, which makes Lugner pretty much useless. And then he picks up Liana here, which I'm not too worried about it since I have an act again that can offset his. Well, I actually have two, technically. So here, I realize since I need to be using, McClane offensively, I can't really run Pirate Raiders on him because they just don't hit very hard. They're more for tanking. So yeah, here I throw down Mass Crystal Healing to get the barriers up, so I don't need to deal with this. Yeah, so that happens, and then it becomes completely useless. So here he's trying to essentially stack up sins on my team, which I don't really care about. Also, I noticed that this L1 is actually not running Unicorn, so I just set my McClane up because I know this L1 can't actually hit him if I put my water here. And he'll have to go through water anyway, so yeah. So yeah, I start moving my Gin up a little bit. Then he throws Odin of Creation onto her, but it's not a really huge deal because this only lasts 2 turns, and I think she's running like the fixed immunity accessory, so I'm not too worried about that because I can just go in and just stun her once that wears out. Anyways, I move up my Lost Him a little bit, and then he moves up his Elwyn a little bit, but I don't really care. Also, I throw Mass Attack on my Sissy White and throw down a Mercenary. And yeah, that gives her a bunch of sin stacks, but I really don't care. I really don't care at this point. So yeah, here I Riptide Component because that's where I want to return to, and then move up a little bit and fart out Terrifying Wave, so I can start controlling. I have pretty much map control. So yeah, pretty much Tristan cannot move at all. Like, Christian's completely stuck on water. Elwyn is dealing with all this water and the trees since he's not running unicorns. And then Yulia can't get in on me because she's technically not a water unit, and so yeah, pretty much his entire team is just stuck back here while I can pretty much do whatever I want, whenever I want. So here I'm just kind of messing around with my DPS units because I'm not intending to set them in anytime soon. So yeah, I'm kind of just taunting. Yeah, I'm kind of just taunting Tristan at this point by just ignoring all his sin stuff. Yeah, and then I throw down Miracle, and then I just keep stacking up. Yeah, I just keep stacking up crystal shit. Also, his so Logner's stuff does nothing. So here I'm like, I can drop my guard anytime, and I might be in some trouble. So I might want to just go in and attack with McLean here. And if I had water elementals, I actually might be able to kill off the Liana here, though. She has a lot of like support from the Christian, so it would be pretty risky to do. Anyways, here I'm just waiting for him to make a mistake and get my cooldowns back up. So here I'm just kind of burning turns. Honestly, I should have just waited Rosenseal since she didn't really need to do anything. And yeah. Yeah, he throws down Devotion, so if I attack her, I get a bunch of sins and stuff. So he's pretty much anticipating that I'm going to throw offensive stuff on his team, which he's actually completely right. Here, I just throw down Offensive Duel and try to assassinate the Elwyn, which doesn't quite work out, which doesn't surprise me at all, but my Lostum's completely safe here, so I don't really care. So yeah, Elwyn gets healed back up to pretty much full. And here I actually try to take him out, which, now that I think about it, if I had water elementals here, I would have been able to kill him. So yeah, that unfortunately doesn't work out for me. And then, yeah. So here, I actually desperate measures McLean here because I'm actually paying attention to how the turn count of the water right here, which is 1. So what would happen is, if I didn't act him again and pretty much use Lord of the Stream, this Yulia could just come in and one-shot my McLean, which I do not want. So yeah, Elwyn moves back, and then I throw down Lord of the Stream right here to renew that, so he's completely safe with his revive, and then Yulia would have to move out. Out of position to actually attack my McLean, which I don't think he's going to do. So yeah, he's just keeps throwing down the Sinful Thoughts and stuff, which I really don't care about. And then I stunned the Lugner. And I'm surprised he actually hasn't used Divine Mercy yet, because I'm at the point where I just have a shit ton of sins, and he can just burn through all my crystal shells. So here I'm just like reapplying Mass Attack and just kind of waiting around. And I think I drop Sins here. So here, he moves the Christiane, drops that, and then allows me to essentially stun her, which that's actually what I was looking to do, because I really didn't want her to... Yeah, I wanted to make sure that the act again is popped right here. So yeah, she gets acted again here, dispels the stun on Lugner, which whatever. And then I throw down Mask Crystal Hearing again, so I can block all the debuffs from Lugner, and then I wonder why the Yulia didn't attack there. One sec, let me just double check this. So, okay, so Yulia... Oh yeah, she was just out of range, so yeah, I was pretty much safe. So yeah, then I move my Gintoki up a little bit and I get rid of those sins, because why not? Then here, I actually get the opportunity to assassinate the Liana. So, hooray. Bye, Liana. So, that's one healer down, which is very nice for me, and then I act again and heal up my McLean, so he's safe. Elwyn really can't do anything here, and then I heal up the McLean. So yeah, pretty much I'm just kind of waiting for an opportunity to get in and mess stuff up. And then Yulia goes in, takes out my first life, which I don't really care about. And then, what else? Oh yeah, I can't really do anything with him here, so I pretty much just do nothing. He finally uses Divine Mercy to pop a ton of debuffs on my McLean. But it's not a huge deal. I pretty much just get rid of those debuffs. And then, yeah, here. Yeah, so what's interesting here is Tristan actually had a couple of options. So what he could have done here is moved Yulia and 3-seed, well, Godly Menaced my McLean, which, whatever, that's a McLean down. But that would have left his Elwyn out on the open for me to pretty much kill, because I would have gotten Quicksand Devourer back up again. But I honestly don't think that would have been very useful. Also, no matter what, he was going to pop my Gintoki, and I would just end up fully running over his team. Even though, yeah, and I had to act again with Sissy White as well, so yeah, there's only so much he could have done about that. But he goes in, kills off that guy, and that's kind of to his detriment, and then I just fart out more water on him. And then pretty much I force him to go in against my Rosenseal, who gets killed off, and I'm like, whatever at this point. So yeah, that happens. And honestly, it probably would have been smarter to go in and kill off my... Well, would have probably been smarter to go in and, whatchamacallit, Godly Menace my McLean right there, and then have my Gintoki act up and then start beating out his Christian. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, here I go in and then I go off and kill off the Yulia with a good Tokyo. So yeah. So Owen gets healed up and D-stunned, but at this point I already have a winning combination, so there's not really much he can do at this point. So yeah, here I just go in, try to assassinate Elwyn, which I don't believe. I knew for a fact one isn't going to work, but I was like, I might as well at this point. So yeah, Elwyn takes a lot of damage, but doesn't die, but I don't really care at this point. So here I act again, my Gintoki, and then I pretty much set up another mercenary, so he isn't affected at all. So my team is protected, and then I go Tokyo against the Christian, and I believe I one-shot her. Yep, there we go. And so there, I dispel a bunch of stuff, inflict a bunch of item breaks, and then I get my Tokyo right back up. And so there's really nothing he can do at this point. So here, I just throw down Lord of the Storm again, because I can. And then my McLean finally gets silenced. And then Lugner uses Divine Mercy, inflicts a bunch of debuffs on me, but I don't care enough to really deal with it. So yeah, I mass attack here, and try to dispel some stuff, but it really doesn't work. And then Elwyn goes in, kills off my... Oh! I stole Christian's guard, I believe, with that. So here I just go and stun Christian because I can, and then heal up a bit, and then Tristan pretty much runs away because my Gintoki is just going to go in and slaughter him. Also, the Christian would have died to Fog next turn as well, so kind of a two for 1-y situation for me, yeah. Anyways, next game is against Nyx. I completely forgot how this played out. Like, the last 3 matches were the ones that I really remembered. Okay, so here he bans out my Gintoki first, which, cool. And then if I ban out his Neo Zerda, because she is a huge problem for my team, and then I pick my Neo Zerda. He bans out Wedum and Lost Him, because they both have good range and do have annoying CC. And he picks up Gintoki here, so he's probably going to count on me rolling over me with Gintoki late game, but I'm not really going to give him that opportunity, so I get rid of his Polial and his his Matthew here, and I believe I pick up Neo Elma here since she's open. Yep. So yeah, I kind of did that because his entire team is mostly focused on single target stuff, and I'm not too worried about like any of the AoEs from any of these units because I can pretty much one-shot anything on this team. So he bans out my my Rosen Seal here and bans out my Yani, which whatever. That pretty much gives me a free healer pick, and he picks up Wedum, which who isn't actually that good against Neo Elma. Like only his AoE can kind of can only really affect Elma, Neo Elma, but it's not really gonna matter since I have a healer pick open, and I'm just closing out his AoE and his assassination potential, and I pick up my regular Elma right here. So even if he does throw like any debuffs on my Elma, it's just gonna bounce back on him. So yeah, he bans out my assassins, and I'm like, I don't really care because unless you pick your tank right here, I don't really need assassins. And unfortunately, he left my Archon, he left my Lucretia, he left my Iron Blood, and he left my McLean here. So I can pretty much ignore like the Lancer troop that he throws out. Like it's only gonna affect my Neo Zeratin, and even then, it's not a big deal. So I get rid of Elwyn here, so he can't annoy me with debuffs, which honestly, it's not a big deal. Actually, leaving Lucretia, yeah, since I have Elma and Neo Elma, I don't even need to worry about debuffs on my regular Elma on my tank. So yeah, I get rid of his tank and I get rid of Elwyn, so I don't need to worry about running phalanxes on my Neo Elma. So here I pick up Iron Blood because she can buff pretty much the rest of my team, and she can ignore the Sissy White's guard. So this match is already over in pick ban. So yeah, he picks up Lucretia, and I pick up Archon last since I don't need another healer at this point. And then he picks up Lostum, who I don't really care about because Lostum's assassination potential is just not the best. So yeah, regular stuff happens, and I pretty much... Well, since I'm first player in this situation, I set up my team like this, so I can pretty much have... If he like put his Wedum right here, I could just block out his entire team, and yeah, even though he could fart out like this on me, I don't really care because I have regular Elma right here. Anyways. So he's kind of retreating back because there's really nothing he can do. Also, this Lostum's infantry, so funny. That's interesting, but not very good to be honest, because now he has even less range than the assassin one, and so I have even less to worry about. So yeah, I throw down Light Mirror on Neo Elma, and then I don't use Ode to Flame quite yet because I don't need it. And so Nyx is pretty much like trying to turtle back here with just a Lancer, but can't really block any of my attacks, to be honest. So here I just set up my Iron Blood right here. Also, that Wedum's running a Breeze for some reason, so yeah, I think this is kind of a lower level-ish player because most Wedums are running Clock rather than Breeze, because Wedum already has a ton of movement. And especially if you're using like Spirit Boots, his movement is just like not an issue. Anyways, so yeah, he's kind of positioning himself in a way where I can't just go up and slaughter him. Unfortunately, he positioned like two of his units in a way where I can just go up and slaughter him. So yeah, disregard what I just said, because my Iron Blood can just run right here, kill either the Lostum, who honestly isn't going to be doing much, and then I can kill off the Wedum, who is doing a lot. But the thing is, it's more determining who I want to use to kill off this Wedum. And so I decided to just throw in Archon because he has a revive. So yeah, Archon goes in. And then I think I move up, yeah, one space. Yeah, one space. And then to get him out of guard range, and then I just go in and kill him. Yep, very dead Wedum. And then I heal pretty much back to full. And so yeah, the Gin's active, but he's not really going to be doing much. And so he goes in and pushes my Archon back. The only reason I can imagine why he did that was because he didn't want to get out of Ulgar range, so my Neo Zerda couldn't just teleport in and kill him off in one shot. But unfortunately, he's still in range of my Iron Blood, so I'm just kind of like trying to suss out what to do. Because I know that this Lost Him is really not going to be doing anything. And at worst, he could just go in and pretty much just hit one of my units. But whatever, I don't really care at this point. That Lost Him's really not going to be doing much. So yeah, he goes in, takes off my Archon's first life and stuns him, which, whatever. Then I go in and then just kill off the Gintoki in one shot without much issue. So here he acts against the Lost Him, but honestly, he's not really going to be doing much. So I just move my Neo Elma up, and then yeah, I just move Neo Elma up so she doesn't get killed off immediately. And then when did that Lucretia get attack debuff? Yeah, I gotta check this out. Yeah, when did she receive this? Was it from the Archon? I don't know. I don't really care either. In any case, my Zerda just gets to go in, teleports in, slaps his entire team with edge drop slash, and does a ton of damage. I get a clock proc as well, so I just get to do that again. Also, he trades his Lost Him for my Iron Blood, and I don't really care. Then I just edge drop slash again and pretty much kills his entire team. So Decisive Blade, and yep, it's pretty much over. So yeah, Neo Zerda carried my butt, I guess. I will say, pretty much that game was very much decided in the pick ban phase, in that I had just so many options to actually kill off the DPS units that I was never really under any threat. Anyways, here is the last game of the showcase, and guess what? It's against another freaking rush box, specifically AoE. So I'm like, ugh, I don't want to play this game anymore. It's so annoying. So I ban out Neo Zerda here. He bans out my Risen Seal because, of course, he does. He picks up Pulley out, and I believe I pick up, is it McLean? No, I pick up my Neo Zerda because she's just a pain in the butt, and I ban out his McLean and his Wedum so I can turtle a little bit. And so he bans out my McLean and my Elma for some reason. Maybe he just missed the Sissy White, and then he picks up Ironblood, who's gonna make this map really annoying. So I decide to actually apply some pressure to him this turn, and I pick up not my Sissy White, not my Wedum, but Sissy White for some reason. Also, I ban out Leonhardt because I don't want to deal with him, and if I don't kill him like turn 1, then he's gonna be a pain in the butt. And I'll say I probably could have left Leonhardt, but I didn't want to risk it. Anyways, he bans out those two, so I have even less pressure on him. Which, okay. And then he picks up his Lost Him, so I have to kind of deal with him trying to assassinate my team, but I don't really care. Because I finally pick up Wedum here, which finally, probably should have picked him up last turn, but I think I was worried that CC would have been banned out, and I didn't want to deal with his potential AoE bullshit. So here I ban out his tanks, so I have pretty much free reign to go nuts on him with Wedum, and I ban out Gintoki since he can just roll over my team if I'm not careful. And then he bans out my Archon and my Diehard since they would have a lot of range to menace him with. And he picks up Matthew here, so he can get the speed boost and pretty much hit me turn 1, which at this point I can't really prevent. So yeah, I ban out his last potential tank, and I ban out Diehard since Diehard has a lot of range. And then I pick up, I think, Yani here. No, it's, I pick up Neo Elma, which is kind of okay because pretty much prevents Alicia from doing anything, and then can't really do much against Epsilon, I guess, but Epsilon kind of can get countered by like all these guys since Neo Elmo could probably win in a drawn-out fight, and then Wedam can just break his shield and then kill him. So yeah. But he picks up Alicia here, and he bans out my Lucretia, who's just, he can't assassinate, and has long range, and then he bans out my Epsilon, who will just have steamrolly power on, and he picks up Alicia here, so he can potentially follow up with all his units and speed boosts. And here I pick up Yani last pick, since she has AoE, kind of has long range, she has portals, so very useful. And I only have really one assassin to deal with, so it's not a big deal. So yeah, speed boost these two. So let's see what they can do. So yeah, speed boost those two. He has guard on Poliao, so I can't just go in and dunk his team with Wedam, which yeah, I'm not too surprised by. And then yeah, Matthew can pretty much just strike here and then run up and hit like maybe my Neo Elmo, but yeah, it's not even. Iron Blood is kind of not great for this map. Also, I brought infantry soldiers when I probably should have brought lancers. Oh well. Also, this Loston really can't do much, since the only like terrain he can grapple to is like this, this, and this, but it doesn't really put him in range of doing anything useful. So yeah, here I throw down Devotee's Glow, so I can gain a sense of what's going on and just set up my guard. So yeah, and there's also really nothing to do. Here I set up Yani's portal so I can potentially become a menace. So yeah, he goes in, Skybreaker drops my Yani and my Wedam, but I don't really care since I brought mass heal on my Sissy White. So yeah, that gets done. Pretty much removes all those debuffs. And then Lostum comes in and assassinates my Yani, but I don't really care because Yani is pretty much here to be a pain in the butt to assassinate. So yeah, Lostum takes a ton of damage in response, which makes me laugh a little bit because now I can just go up, Shadow of Alhazard, kill off the Lostum because I can. I get a clock there, move into range, take out the Matthew, so basically a 2-for-1 trade. And then I teleport back. And then Dev surrenders. And yeah, there's only so much you could do at that point because my Neo Zerda could pretty much cover all of that range, and that was a 2-for-1 trade, and Dev pretty much needs to kill me as quickly as possible without losing any of his units. But that didn't work out for him, so I won pretty handily there. But yeah, you can kind of understand my frustration with rush boxes, because every single rush box I've played, I've always been P2 against, and it's just so annoying. But anyways, hopefully I won't have to deal with as much of them next time I play. But knowing my luck, I'll probably get like a 60%. Well, 60% of the boxes I'll play will probably be rush, and I'll be P2 every single time. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.